so much for joining me here tonight. I hope that you can see me okay. And I am very glad to be seeing you. I apologize for having to postpone this show, but the other night we were having massive thunderstorms. Turns out there were tons of thunderstorms. I hope everyone is okay. And when you jump on to see the show, please say hi in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, please go ahead and leave a comment below and let me know who you are, where you're from, and if you have any questions about the topics that I'm covering tonight. I see y'all jumping on. You're getting the notifications. And my work involves music and, of course, doing talk shows and my activism and the true aspect of alchemy, which is transforming and transfiguring my life into what I want it to be for me. Colorful Goddess, hey, how are you? Ooh, that's an alarm. Let me turn that off. But hey, how are you? And yeah, it's been really tough. And so I'm just grateful to be back, and I am so happy to see y'all here. So tonight's show is going to be a little interesting for me, mainly because I deal with a lot of assholes with what I do. My work as a sacred sex shaman, which is what I call my work now, and helping people use orgasm and their sexual energy to anchor love, healing, and consciousness in their life and in their relationships and even in their business. Yes, you can use orgasm energy through sex magic and other utilizations of Shakti, life force energy, Kundalini. You can utilize that to make incredible change in your life. And before I called myself Sacred Sex Shaman, I was a roused woman for several years. And I love that. And I miss it. I'm kind of taking it back slowly but surely. And so I've done a lot of work on myself in the past several years. And it never ceases to amaze me how men are able to come up out of their patriarchal upbringing and the toxic masculinity. And yet it never ceases to surprise me and piss me off when men just show that they really can't get up out of that toxic masculinity at all. No matter how smart they are, no matter how many tools they have, no matter, how many free self-help stuff they can find online, like my stuff, that they still trip over their own stupidity to be an asshole or just an idiot. And it annoys me. That's part of what I'm going to be talking about tonight. So the first thing is, if you have any sex questions, any questions about sex, sexuality, sex ed, sexual function, orgasm, go ahead and put those into the comments here in the live chat. And I definitely want to address those. And so to start off, what we're going to talk about tonight is OnlyFans. I joined OnlyFans a month ago, and I did it as an experiment, hoping that what I thought wouldn't happen, or what I hoped wouldn't happen, but it did. And so a big part of why I did OnlyFans, it was two main reasons. Number one, because I had inner work that I needed to do around healing my own prostitute archetype that most women have. Most women have this within them. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But the other reason I joined OnlyFans was because I get censored on Facebook, on Tumblr. If y'all remember, Yahoo bought Tumblr, and then suddenly they're taking all of the fun stuff off of Tumblr. I get censored on Instagram. And by censored, what I mean is either they remove my post completely, or they block my post from being shown to my followers or my friends on Facebook. And and sometimes I get in trouble on Twitter. Twitter has started blocking certain hashtags, even like Foreskin Friday. You see Foreskin? Let's see. Foreskin. I don't know if I can stand up. Foreskin rocks. There we go. This is one of the t-shirts you can buy on my website, but you can't do a search of Foreskin Friday, nothing comes up. And Foreskin Friday has been a hashtag for years. And so anyway, so I joined OnlyFans because it seemed like one of the few places where I could do what I do and not have to worry about censorship, right? So I joined it, and a few of my followers came on over, and I said at the beginning, and it's in the bio of my OnlyFans, that I have my OnlyFans account so that I can have a place that's free from censorship, and that I am able to do my intactivism, right? Foreskin yumminess, promoting and talking with men who are intact because they have questions about their foreskin. Like grown men who don't even know their own anatomy. They don't know, they actually don't know how their foreskin works. Like what they feel, they don't know why they feel that. And so that's what I do in helping them to understand how their own penis works. And I love helping men, whether they're intact or circumcised, it doesn't matter. I love helping men really get in touch with their body and to help that translate into being a better lover for their partner. That's beautiful and wonderful. So OnlyFans became this kind of like last resort of where I could do what I do as an aroused woman and sacred sex shaman without the censorship. And it says in my bio that I will do occasional tasteful nudes, but no veg. I mean, that's really clear. And, you would think somebody would understand occasional means not often, right? Or definitely not daily. Hold on. And the reason I don't mind doing nudes of my breasts is because I'm part of the hashtag free the nipple. I do not understand why it is illegal for women to show our nipples in public on social media, but men can show their nipples. It makes no sense to me if you understand that the anatomical male breast is the same as the anatomical female breast. We actually have the same anatomy. Men have fat and ducts, not quack, ducts with a T. and they have the nipple areolar complex just like we do. It's just that women have more fat, and because women tend to have higher estrogen, that's how we produce milk to breastfeed a baby. But anatomically, the male breast is the exact same as the female breast. And so I do not understand the automatic sexification of women's bodies. I don't understand why just being a mature female, and by mature, I mean, I'm past puberty, my breasts have come in, and humans are one of the only species, I think, we're about the only species of mammals where when women reach sexual maturity through puberty, so sexual maturity does not equal emotional maturity for sex, but sexual maturity, it could be 13, 14, 15 years old. My breast came in when I was 10. I woke up one morning, I was a C cup. I'm like, what the hell? What is this? I woke up and they were there. A week later, I was a D. The next week, I was a double D. And they were double D for years and years and years until I had my daughter. And then suddenly they became even bigger. And, men have always seen my life force energy, my inner Shakti. And, oh, you're pregnant in the summer? Oh my God, I was too. I gave birth to my daughter in July. I was the most miserable May and June. I can't imagine being pregnant in July and August, especially here in Mississippi. Anyway, but men have always noticed my energy, and they've assumed the energy that I exude is sexual energy for them. Oh, you're in Arizona. I was in Arizona last year. Didn't we have this conversation? Didn't we already talk about this once before? Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate all the new subscribers. I really do. Are you the one that saw my intact video? I was in my truck and I had just gotten, was that you? Yes, I knew it. Ha! Foreskin rocks. This is one of the t-shirts that's available on my website. Mama, let me tell you, you are doing a great thing if you know you're having a boy and you're still listening to me about foreskin. Please go back and watch the last few videos I've done. The one that says foreskin Q&A. Oh, good. Yay. Foreskin Q&A. I wind up talking about foreskin a lot. It is actually part of my soul mission. Like, one of the reasons why I am incarnated in this lifetime is to help end circumcision as this blood sacrifice, because, well, I won't get into all of that, but it in the United States, it has been medicalized as normal, and it's not. So anyway, I am so happy to see you again. Oh, yay! So yes, please keep watching my videos. The foreskin Q&A is going to be very helpful for you. All right, because I do go into the anatomy specifically in that video. So anyway, so all around the world with this, right? So men have always assumed I'm this very sexual being, and really I just have a life force energy that I have allowed to flow through me. I have followed my heart and followed my passions pretty much my entire life, much to my mother's dismay. I was a huge disappointment because I was very independent and was not the little lady that she had wanted to have. Oh well. So anyway, so I'm used to men being all kinds on the entire spectrum of very respectful to just absolutely crude and rude. There was one picture that I posted, body shot, but you couldn't see anything except my nipples, right? But one guy said, hey, ladies, spread your legs. I'm like, fuck you. No, I'm not going to spread my legs. I mean, I get assaulted through social media all the time. Men asking if my breasts are real, are they fake, blah, blah, blah. So I've had issues with my body my whole life. And so in 2018, I started doing nudes on my website. And on my website, they were all what I thought tasteful nudes. And then I took them down. I also have my daily OJs, which it documents my sexual awakening as I, just had my tantric kundalini awakening, and I was feeling and experiencing that I honestly did not know were possible. And so it was quite the journey, and I documented that. But along the way, it wakened up the pain and trauma of sexual assault, sexual trauma as a kid, rape at 21, and then other times of being physically, sexually assaulted by men. And I realized that a lot of my body image issues were around my curves, my hourglass figure. And one of the things that I noticed when I was, after I had my daughter, and I went through postpartum depression, and I gained all this weight. It was the first time since I was 10 years old when I woke up with those breasts one morning. It was the first time in my life since puberty started that men did not look at me sexually. They didn't look at me like some hungry predator that just found their next kill, and there was safety in that for me. I'm not going to go further into that. I've done an entire video on, it's called why I got fat, how I got fat, why I stayed fat, and how I learned to love my body anyway, because I did. 2015, I was standing in the mirror at my heaviest weight and realized, oh my God, I love my body. And society would say, oh my God, you can't love your body, you're fat. You know, what are you thinking? But I was just thinking about, this is my vehicle for this lifetime. And my vehicle is capable of the absolute most incredible, most exquisite pleasure. And I'm talking cosmic level bliss. How could I not love a vehicle that does that, right? And so I realized in 2015, looking in the mirror, my body, the biggest it's ever been, I loved my body. So it took me a couple more years to get confident enough in that to then put pictures of myself out on my website, because I felt safe doing it on my website, right? Because I could control it. Well, of course, some asshole men had to make even that like just dirty and trashy, because, you know, most of men's exposure to sex, sexuality, what sex is supposed to be like, is through porn. You know, they see that at a very young age, and it's getting to be a younger and younger age every year. Like if your kid has a smartphone, don't be surprised if, you know, they've seen porn on the smartphone, because it has access to the internet, right? When my daughter was in junior high, I remember, you know, her saying that the kids in her class, she was 12, that they watch porn on their phones during study hall. So I was like, ooh, okay, this is very scary. And so, anyway, let me try and get back on track here. So I'm not used, I'm used to assholes. Let me just put it like that. But I'm not accustomed to men who like keep doing that shit with me. Like usually, you know, I set them straight, but this one guy, and this is what I'm getting to. This one guy on Instagram had asked to see my nudes page, or he had heard about my nudes page and wanted me to send pictures from my nudes page to him, because it's you can't see it right now, it's password protected. And I told him no. And he started begging me for pictures, you know, and he asked if I'd ever done OnlyFans. It's actually, I think he's the one where I heard about OnlyFans. So I hadn't really checked it out. And he wanted pictures. Basically, he wanted vagina pictures too. And I said no. So this is all over Instagram. Hey, Robbie. Hey, babe, how are you? So in dealing with this guy, you know, he's already asked me for pictures. So, you know, just give up. He also told me about, you know, just how much that he masturbates to my daily OJ posts on my blog. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know why you find them sexy. And I even talk about how I'm, you know, trying to learn to love my body to heal sexual trauma. So I don't know how you find that sexy. So, you know, it's very strange. So I go on OnlyFans to get away from some of the censorship that I face. And the other reason I wanted to go on OnlyFans was to help heal what's called the prostitute archetype. The prostitute archetype, anybody can feel this, but it's mostly women who feel this, because it's women who have been the chattel, whose ownership is passed from, say, father to new husband during marriage. It's also women who weren't allowed to have our own money through most of human history. And so if we had our own money, if we were independent in any way, that was a threat. And so what then is it like to have that feeling of, I can't, you know, again, I'm a history nerd, so I'm going back to the idea that women could not have their own money. Women were not supposed to have sex according to the church. Women were not supposed to be independent in any way. Women were not supposed to have control of their bodies or their sexuality. Even being an actor, like in Shakespearean times, if you saw a woman on the stage, it was because she probably was a prostitute, because women were not allowed to be actors. And so it's just this, it's a sexual repression of women. It's an entire, it's like the full scope of everything that we could be or want to be. It's an economic oppression of women. It's a sociological, sociocultural oppression of women, certainly political oppression of women. And so anyway, so there's just a lot of different things. I was coming to the OnlyFans experiment with a lot of ideas about what I wanted to experience, or what would I experience. And the one thing I wanted to experience is, out of all the men who've asked me for special pictures that I haven't given, and then they immediately ask how much. So they're willing to pay. So I would give them a price that's just like exorbitant, right? A ridiculously high price, just to see, because I wasn't going to do it, but I mean, just to see what they would say. And every time they turn me down because the price is too much. It's more than what they wanted to pay. So if I would give it to them for free, oh, they'd love it. But me, charging them a certain amount, exorbitant, right? That's too much. And so one of the ways that I live my life is that if I think about doing something and my first response is, what would somebody think? What would my family think? What would my friends think? If I have that first reaction, then I know I have to do that thing, because I cannot and will not live my life according to other people's directives, other people's projections of what they think is right and wrong, or their projections of their judgments, because they didn't follow their dreams, or they didn't live their life the way they wanted to. They lived their life according to the judgments and dictates of society, religion, their family, et cetera, et cetera. So when I had this idea of okay, what about doing OnlyFans? And I'll be posting the occasional nude, no vag, but men are subscribing to my channel. I am essentially doing nudes for money. And, in the larger scheme of things, that is in alignment with the whole prostitute thing. Your body, your sexuality, your sexual, organs, your genitals, and trading that for money. How would that make me feel? Would I be able to tap into that in terms of healing past life? See, this life, whatever, I don't care. Life, do I have any past life issues with that and prostitute archetype? I feel I do, mainly because, again, throughout most of human history, women have not been able to be in charge of our own money. I mean, that was a big reason for the women's movement. The women's movement back in the 1840s, and we still have not achieved equal pay for equal work for equal experience. So that's why I did the OnlyFans. So within a couple of days, one of the people who subscribed was that guy that had wanted me to send pictures, and he'd been jerking off to my OnlyFans, my daily OJ, and and I've already told him I will not give him badge pictures, so I made that clear. And in my bio on OnlyFans, it clearly says occasional tasteful nudes, as I see fit, whenever I want to do it, and no vag. It's right there. So he messaged me. He signed up. He subscribed as a subscriber on my OnlyFans. And then he messaged me at some point and asked if I would send him personally some vag pictures, basically. And I'm just like, we've already had this conversation and it's in my bio. You know, so from my perspective, I have set up the boundaries numerous times. And this twerp keeps asking me to violate my own boundaries for him. Good, Robbie. That's good to hear that. So a few days ago, this was last week, he sent this. And the reason why I am bringing this up is because if you're still clueless about what women experience with sexual assault online, cyber sexual assault, if you still don't understand that this is real, that this happens to the average person, so you can only imagine someone who's actually, you know, like literally putting herself out there as a sex coach, relationships coach, and anatomist, and that kind of thing. You'd be kind of shocked at some of the things I get. Now, normally I would never, ever, ever share a message that was sent to me without the person's permission. But I feel that this jerk has gone so far and above what I feel is acceptable that I don't mind sharing this, because this is an example of some of the stuff that I deal with. And I just want other women to understand and to like really be cognizant of the manipulation that some men will go to. So the subscription price for my OnlyFans is $34.99. Yeah. See, and I set it that high because it's like, okay, if you, I know you're coming to my account because you want nudes of me. I know you're coming to my account for the sex talk. So yeah, you're going to pay because I know you're willing to pay for sex, men. I know this. I know you want it for free, but anyway. So he sent me several messages. So he sent me several messages and he said, would you please grace me with the picture you've deleted? Because those full body shots that again did not show vag, because I had my legs crossed in a certain way. You couldn't see anything, you know. Another guy asked, he said, hey baby, spread your legs. So I took the pictures down. And so this guy is asking me, would you be careful. So he says, would you please grace me with a picture you deleted? And then he says, it sounds like I worship you. I guess I kind of do, LMAO. And so he's trying to like butter me up, right? He says, then he goes on to say another message. He says, I love you and everything you do. He says, I appreciate that you're stepping out of your comfort zone with this site and posting photos of yourself, as well as time to post videos with my clothes on, which is another thing he asked me about. He asked me, he said, oh, when you do your videos, are you going to be just, you know, casually naked answering questions? I said, fuck no. No. And so I appreciate you're stepping out of your comfort zone with this site and posting photos of yourself, as well as taking the time to post videos. I love being a fan of you. I want to continue, but I do want to say that honestly, what you're charging here isn't the most ideal for what you've been posting. I really don't want to sound like another one of those guys who say, I can see pussy. Hate that word. I can see pussy for less than this, but the fact of the matter is it's true. I see tons of value in what you do, what you're here for, and who you are. But at the end of the day, OnlyFans is, capital letters, OnlyFans is where people pay to see tits, ass, and pussy. $35 a month is a bit posting content worth that much daily. I don't want you to say you can unsubscribe if you don't like the price, because I want to see everything. I want to see all of you. I'm essentially begging you to make this worth the price. I'm fully on my knees begging you. Let's review, shall we? Okay. So I've already told this guy on Instagram, I'm not sending him badge pics. Okay. He asked how much pics would be just for him. I told him what the price would be and there would be no badge, and he turned that down. So he subscribed to my OnlyFans knowing full well the price was $34.99, and that I've said full well that this is a place for me not to be censored. And it's there in my bio saying occasional tasteful nudes, no veg. And he messages me anyway after that, asking for me to send him pictures, specifically vag. And I have already said no. So then he sends all this shit. I know, right? So let me just go through this. Will you please grace me with the picture you've deleted? If I wanted you to see it, guess what? I wouldn't have deleted it and I would have sent it to you already. Okay. Okay. It sounds like I worship you. No, this is not worship. This is not worship. I guess I kind of do. You are delusional. I love you and everything that you do. No, you don't. No, you don't. But thanks for the flattery, because this is the flattery part, ladies. We're going to get to the manipulation in just a second. He says, I appreciate that you're stepping out of your comfort zone with this site. My comfort zone is just fine. I didn't need OnlyFans to be comfortable with my body. I've already done that journey. This is fucking ridiculous. Posting photos of yourself as well as taking time to do the time to post videos. So the videos were live Q&As with me fully clothed, and OnlyFans, it's really weird. They have a weird thing about doing the live video. So I've done 2 and they never posted. But anyway, so here's a manipulation. I love being a fan of you. I want to continue. Here's where the threat and the manipulation continues. But I do want to say that honestly, what you're charging here isn't the most ideal for what you've been posting. Okay. The price is, I think, fair. A little more than $1 a day, especially when you consider OnlyFans takes 20%. Patreon takes a little over 9%. And Patreon, which used to be the place that people would go to post like pics, like nudie pics and boudoir sets and that kind of thing, Patreon's trying to clean that out too. So really OnlyFans is the only place to go for this kind of thing. So at a little more than $1 a day, and OnlyFans takes out 20%, and then they hold it for 7 days. So it's like, I don't get all the money anyway, and they hold it, I guess, to see about refunds. I don't know. But anyway, so then he says, I really don't want to sound like another one of those guys who say I can see pussy, hate that word, for less than this, but the fact of the matter is true. Well, asshole, don't let the door hit you on the ass, or as a matter of fact, do. Let it hit you on the ass. Fucking Pornhub. Go anywhere that you can get it for free. Why the fuck are you keep coming to me asking me for pics when I have repeatedly said no? I have repeatedly set boundaries, and you keep violating my boundaries. You keep coming at me asking for things that I'm never going to give you, or any man that isn't my divine masculine. My divine masculine is the only one. The only way that anyone's ever going to see my vagina is if I were to do some photo spread for an art gallery, or if I were to do a female ejaculation video, which I am seriously considering, because there's so much wrong information about female ejaculation and how to achieve it. So, I'm thinking along those lines. But again, it's when I want to do it, because this is my body. So one of the reasons why I did this whole OnlyFans thing, it's coming to fruition right here. I see tons of value in what you do, what you're here for, and who you are. But at the end of the day, OnlyFans is where people pay to see tits, ass, and pussy. So basically, he's saying that I really don't have a choice in the matter, that if I'm going to stay on OnlyFans, it's only to show all parts of my body, even the parts I don't want to show, and that I'm now being manipulated into doing that. And a younger female might very easily be manipulated. And that's what really pisses me off about all this. See, like me, I don't care. This asshole, I've already removed him as a follower on Instagram. I really want to block him on OnlyFans. But I think his subscription went through again today. So, yeah, I'll take his money. I'm not going to give him anything that he wants to see, because he could have turned his subscription off. But I wanted to see if he was going to stay on for another month. And it looks like he kept his subscription on. Anyway, but a younger female is going to see this kind of thing. Because it's the flattery. I see tons of value in what you do, what you're here for, who you are. But at the end of the day, OnlyFans is where people pay to see tits, ass, and pussy. A younger female, maybe an 18, 19-year-old girl who's, needs to make extra money. And with the strip clubs closed right now, they're moving it to OnlyFans. They might actually be manipulated. They might feel that, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose him as a subscriber. I'm going to lose his money. Prostitute archetype in full swing here. I'm going to lose him if I don't do what he says. And by the way, OnlyFans, because everything has gone online, right, with teaching and education and online courses, OnlyFans, you'll find fitness trainers doing their fitness thing 5-6 days a week. You'll see, I've even seen tarot card readers on OnlyFans. The tarot card readers are moving to OnlyFans for a lot of different reasons, because they don't like Patreon. Anyway, but the fact that, he goes back to the manipulation and then making it sound like very autocratic, dogmatic, that, hey, babe, you're on OnlyFans, men expect to see tits, ass, and pussy. And again, a younger female or a woman who's not fully, in her own power might be manipulated by this. So then he says $35 a month is a bit much to charge for your not posting content worth that much daily. Okay, let's break that down. $35 a month is a fucking bargain, asshole. A bargain. $35 would get you a deluxe hand job. All right, one. And plus, I know that whatever pictures I post, you're doing plenty of hand jobs for yourself over them. So you're $35, you're good. Okay. And for your not posting content worth that much. So my foreskin information, my live videos about foreskin and sex ed and sexual health about foreskin, it's not worth $35 a month. And, and then the, free the nipple pics that I do, clearly they're not appreciated. He says, I don't want you to say you can unsubscribe if you don't like the price, because I want to see everything. I want to see all of you. Never going to happen, dude. Never going to happen. I mean, unless you watch one of my female ejaculation videos, if I ever do those. So then he says, so it's the manipulation again, and then the flattery again. It's like every paragraph has the complimenting me and then the trying to manipulate me into doing things I have repeatedly said I'm not going to do. And he's not getting it, that the more he asks, the more I really don't want, not only do I not want to do it completely, but, you know, I will be blocking him on every one of my social media platforms that I know what his account number is. So I'm essentially begging you to make this worth the price. Honey, if this were $2 a month, you would find a way to where the $2 was not worth it. I can't make anything worth the price for you. If you don't see the value in it, I can't make it worth the price for you. You have to understand, you know, that, you know, $35 a month to help support intactivism, because this guy is intact, right? And so $35 a month to get your jollies and to help support my activism, because I'm being systematically censored on so many platforms for speaking up for foreskin, for speaking up for parents and moms to be like colorful goddess so that they keep their boys intact. If that's not fucking worth it to you, $35 a month, there is nothing that I would be able to say or do that would make that worth it to you and not stay in my own power. You know, and he says, I'm fully on my knees begging you. No, what you're doing is you are demanding sexual services for money that I've already repeatedly said now on 2 social media platforms that I will not do. So at this point, I just consider this guy a sexual abuser. He's definitely a manipulator. Definitely a manipulator. And because he thinks that he's entitled to the sexual services because he paid money for one kind of service he thought he was getting sexual services with, he now thinks he's entitled to anything that he wants because he paid $35. Do you see what I'm getting at? This is one of the things that I wanted to see with doing the OnlyFans and trying to heal my inner prostitute archetype. Although I didn't really word it like that to myself, when I read this was like, holy shit, this is what I started OnlyFans to see if this, you know, and the thing is that another guy, his subscription auto charged 2 days ago. And I had actually given him a discount because he gave me several tips, you know, during his first month. I thought was really sweet, you know. And so like 5 tips, $5 here, $20, because like I said, one of the posts was I was just trying to raise money to help support, you know, my activism, you know, because this stuff isn't free. Internet's not free. Phone service isn't free. I need to update my website. You know, so there are a lot of, you know, there are a lot of just costs that go into doing this, right? Ordering t-shirts isn't free. Not even for me. Like, I don't get my t-shirts for free. I have to pay for them. You know, and so, yeah, so he was really, really sweet. And he's been very nice. I mean, y'all have seen him in the chat room here on my YouTube. And, but anyway, so his subscription went through, and then he says, hey, can you give me my money back? My funds are really low this month. And I felt really bad. That's like, well, I don't have your money, and I said, just call support. I mean, contact support and see if they give you a refund. I'm totally cool with that, you know, because again, this guy follows me on several platforms, and he's been in the chat room here. He's very sweet. I said, well, just contact support and get a refund. I've got no problem with that. And he came back at me. He said, well, they won't give refunds. He said, you know, you can get my $30 back. I'm like, I don't have your money. You know, so even then, again, you know, they hold it for 7 days. I don't have his money, you know, and then he kind of made a rude comment, like something along the lines of nice knowing you, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so the other part of the prostitute archetype is how do you allow yourself to be treated when you feel manipulated by a man because maybe he's like, quintessential experience that I think every woman has been through is like, if a man paid for dinner, do you owe him sex? You know, the whole reason a man maybe bought you dinner was because he figured that in buying you dinner later. And that's why it's so important for women to go at least half and half on dinner when you don't know the man well, or just, you know, pay for the dinner yourself and let him know up front, dude, you're not getting laid and I don't expect sex from you, but I'll pay for dinner just to keep myself safe. Okay. And how fucking stupid and sick is that? But anyway, but that's something I think most women have experienced, is that, you know, you let a man pay for dinner. Oh my God, am I going to have to put out later? Well, no, of course you don't. But that mentality is part of the prostitute archetype, you know? And so even with this guy, you know, that didn't cancel a subscription in time, that's not my fault. I feel really bad, and I don't have your money anyway because they hold it. You know, so anyway, it's too bad that they're getting upset that I didn't show my vagina all over the place, but it says in the bio that I'm not. And I've been very clear that going to OnlyFans is almost the last resort because of all of the censorship that I get on other platforms. So anyway, so my main concern actually with all of this happening is two things. Number one, young women being manipulated into doing things, sexual services, sexual videos and pictures online that they really don't want to do, but then being manipulated into it by the man or the man, and doing it in exchange for money. You know, no man's going to manipulate me into anything sexually. You know, I've been around this block too many times. It's not going to happen. But then the other thing is that, you know, the online experience here, sexual services online. The internet is still young, right? The usual historical way this would have been done would have been the street corner. Or a brothel, but in a brothel, at least you were safer because you had the madam, you know, bordello, the madam and whatever. Best little house in, well, everywhere, you know, you are safer in a brothel. But typically this kind of thing happens on the street, and this happens in the man's car. This kind of thing happens where you really don't have control over your surroundings. You don't have control over the situation. And it puts the woman in such a precarious and dangerous situation. Prostitutes get raped. I mean, they consent to some things for money. And then if they say no, the guy can overpower them sometimes. And, you know, it's, so that was my thought, is that what if this were the typical kind of situation and I said no in person? Would he overpower me? Would he shove me into a stairwell like one man did when I was walking down a hallway, and some man just decided that he could put his hands on me, and so he grabbed me and pushed me into a stairwell and started, you know, all over me, and I had to get away. I was in the green room at a ballet company, and I was cleaning up like a table area. And the ballet master came in, and he'd been attracted to me, and he came in and just decided nobody else was around. And so next thing I know, he's pushed me up into the corner. I'm literally standing there. So it was awful. Like his mouth was all up on me, and I don't know how he did it, but he got my arms behind my back, and he was holding both my wrists with one of his hands. And his other hand was on my breast, and I was wearing a long pencil skirt. So I couldn't like knee him up in the balls. But he pressed his knee in between my legs. So my legs were trapped in my pencil skirt, and I couldn't get away. Like, I did not know how to get out. I didn't know how to fight that. So I just bit down really hard on his tongue, and he was like, oh, no. He was cussing in Russian because he was Russian. And he was bleeding. I'm like, and then I felt bad that I hurt him. I'm like, what the fuck? So I know what it's like to be sexually assaulted just walking down the hallway of a theater. I know what it's like to be sexually assaulted just standing, doing my work in a green room. I don't even want to go there about what it's like to be sexually assaulted as a prostitute. And keep in mind, I've actually been homeless, on the street homeless. And being sexually assaulted while being homeless was one of the biggest concerns that I had as a woman alone. And it was that was the biggest fear. And that's why I was so grateful that I was fat. It's why I kept my fat all this time, was to keep myself protected, because as a fat woman, you know, men are not interested in me. Men don't find me sexually attractive. Men don't, or so I thought. You know, men don't like big chicks, right? Turns out there's a whole lot of men that like BBW and curves and thick chicks. And I had no idea a few years ago. But no, when I was homeless the past 3 years, I'm grateful when I was able to stay with friends and, you know, couch surf. But there were times when I didn't have that. And I lived in my car for 3 months in Los Angeles. That was scary. And then even in Tempe, Arizona last year, bounced around some Airbnbs. And then there were times where I was just on the park bench with my luggage. And it's very scary for women. And so I'm taking all of my personal experiences of the fear, the constant fear of being sexually assaulted, and actually being sexually assaulted, raped when I was 21. Just this idea that men will use flattery or manipulation to get what they want. Some men, let me back up, not all men are like this. But I think most men are taught that this is the way to get what they want, especially when it comes to sex. The really strong men follow their heart and they understand that's not right. You know, that's just not the way to be. And so this person clearly only values what he thinks he will feel or experience if I show him parts of my body that I only show to my divine masculine. You know, I mean, nipples are fine, because I don't understand why women's nipples are illegal in this country. I think New York City is like one of the few cities where it's legal now, where women can be topless. And why topless? How come when a man takes his shirt off, he's shirtless, but when a woman takes her shirt off, it's topless? Like, what is the difference? Why do we differentiate that, you know? So, yeah. So I know this is not a fun topic and this has not been a fun show, but this is my life and this is my experience. And this is part of my journey. It's part of my ascension journey. It's part of my awakening journey. It's part of my transformation and evolution journey, because healing the prostitute archetype, that healing that part of our past lives as divine feminines that says you have to prostitute yourself to get ahead. You have to prostitute yourself to get the part, you know, the casting couch, Hollywood, right? Or even theater. You know, you have to sleep your way to the top, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of that is part of the prostitute archetype. And what we're trying to get to is to where women's bodies and women's sexuality are honored the same way men's sexuality and men's bodies should be honored for just their natural beauty, because, you know, we are emanations of spirit. You know, we are physical emanations of our souls here having a physical experience. So this has been a really, it's been, it hasn't been hard, you know, is like, oh, it was a hard experience. It wasn't hard. It's sad more than anything, you know. It's just sad. And then I just wonder that if this were a situation where, you know, like, you know, on the corner, would either one of these three guys, the one who told me, you know, spread your legs, give me my money back, or sayonara, see ya, whatever it was that he said, and then this one that's just doing the extensive manipulation, and I just consider him an abuser at this point. And I just really feel for the young girls out there who are trying to earn extra money through OnlyFans, through other sites, through webcams, you know. And this happened last night. I did a special offer for answering sex ed, sexual health, and relationship questions. I did this on my Facebook, and it was just a special offer, and I posted it in my story as well. And I had men contacting me in Messenger asking me all kinds of questions. I'm like, read my post. But they basically just wanted to chit chat. I'm like, I'm not your chit chat girl. You know, I don't sit on social media about your limp dick. I really don't. Now, if you want to talk about your erectile dysfunction, book a session. So anyway, so I know this topic was not fun, but I do hope that it's been helpful for anyone who comes across this video, any female going through this, any trans person going through this. A lot of trans people wind up feeling like they have to do this kind of thing, like on the street. Either they get kicked out of their house, LGBT kids get kicked out of the house, they become homeless, and so they turn to prostitution as teenagers just to have money, just to get by, just to buy food. Trans people could be fired from their job, which I think of that recent Supreme Court decision now makes that illegal, right? Somebody double check me on that. I stay away from most media, but I do remember seeing something about that new Supreme Court. I'll look it up. But you know, trans people, gay people, even just being gay, being a lesbian, even being bisexual, you know, you could lose your job over that. I've lost jobs because I'm not Christian. Yay. So, anywho, all right, I'm going to wrap this up. Again, sorry, I know this wasn't a fun show, but just remember, foreskin rocks. Keep your boys intact. And I am offering a new kind of bundle of sessions. It's called Tantric Fire Magic, and it's going to be amazing. I'm so happy to start that. Oh, and Wednesday of this week starts our 21 Days to Better Bliss course. So if you want in on that, the information is actually already in the description below. Just go to my website, trishcausey.com/21 days AWESOM, AWESOM, and you can find out information on how to sign up. We start Wednesday. You can get the 21 days program by itself, or you can get that for free if you sign up for my awesome program. And so I don't know, Colorful Goddess, I don't know if that's something you want to get on right now, but I do know that, you know, once you have a child, oh, your body changes. All your pieces and parts, they're in different places. Because your hips had to spread so that you could give birth and all. So anyway, Colorful Goddess, please stay in touch so I know how you and the baby are. And, you know, we'll try to do some more fun shows coming up. So anyway, I'm so grateful that all of you joined me tonight for tonight's show. Thank you for giving me the space to talk about these topics, because I really, really hope that that women understand you don't have to prostitute yourself in any way, for any reason, for any amount of money. You really can stand in your own power to create the life you want, to create your own financial abundance. And that's a big thing that we're doing with Tantric Fire Magic sessions. How to create wealth from a spiritual perspective, you know, because sometimes creating wealth, it can feel icky, you know. So anyway, all right, I love y'all, and I think the chat is running slow, but so I love y'all. Y'all take care, and check out the links in the description on that 21 days program. And I will have information about my tantric fire magic sessions coming up soon. All right, y'all be good. Mwah. And remember, only love is real. Y'all take care. Bye.